Hello everybody. I thought I'd show you where I'm up to with my new collection called Shore. 18 pieces in total, and these are just a few of them. And as you can see, I just quickly scanned this with my mobile phone, and these aren't all finished. Each one is 7 inches by 5 inches. These are exclusively for my mailing list. So if you think that you might want one, go to https://GabriellaBuckingham.myflowdesk.com/what-now, and then you should see a form come up. I will actually be sending it out to my entire list, but there'll be a secret page at GabriellaBuckingham.com for people to have a look and see if they'd like one. Now, do you see that beautiful pebble over there on the far right? That is what inspired this entire collection. I went out with my family to my nearest beach, Bacton Beach, and I saw this gorgeous pebble, and of course it was wet then, but it has the most beautiful, almost swirling wave-like pattern, an incredible delicate sort of tracery of whites and greys sort of swirling around this dark area in the middle with this lovely neutral at the bottom. And I just thought it was absolutely beautiful, the most beautiful stone I've ever seen. And it's like there's a whole world in there. You know those paintings that are just so beautifully layered and rich? That's what this stone was like. And funnily enough, the paintings inspired by this stone are actually quite simple in those terms. Some of them are layered and some are very direct, and they just seem to work as they are. So I've left them as they are. I didn't introduce lots of other colour. I really have kept this as a predominantly blue series. But this entire collection, Shore, is very cool colours. It's really, it's funny because when I think about when I started to paint it, and I hadn't had a chance to do any work on it for the last couple of weeks, it was a very hot week, and I think I really was enjoying going for a swim and immersing myself in cold water and even having the odd cold shower. And that's all come out in my work. It's really interesting to me. The other thing I need to do is think about how I'm going to title these, and that will come last. It nearly always does. I often get an idea for a collection title right at the start, which I think is helpful. It doesn't mean you can't change it, of course. I'm inspired by my own course in a sense. I devised a course called Hotcakes, which is all about selling your work, small pieces of work, like a small collection. And so this is my next version of it. So what I thought I'd do is show you where I've got to now after the first stage. And there will be some that I definitely feel are finished, and there'll be others that I'll want to do more iterations on. So I thought it'd be really fun to show you that. And of course now the sun's come out, so I'm really overexposed, but I'd rather be that way than too dark. Okay, this is my cue to stop talking and show you some things. I've got my 2 piles here, which you can't see the bottom of, but I'll just lift one up. These are the ones that I feel I really love as they are, but I am going to have to be brave and make decisions about them, and obviously paint all the edges. That will help, but I want to add a bit more richness to them. And as you can see, the pile is only slightly higher, which means that I have 11 that I really like as they are, and I have 9 that I'm going to enjoy playing with and being even more experimental with. So what I'm going to show you here is where I got to after the first session, and in some cases there's more than one layer from that first session. Initially I had 6 pieces that have this bright turquoise on, and then I worked on the rest predominantly with this dark colour. So some of the pieces have this in. And today I'm going to go and work on top of some of the pieces with more blues, particularly a little bit more of this. I very much see this way round. I've looked at it in other directions, and of course you could, and I could, change my mind. But I just feel that to me, that is the sky, and then this is some kind of wave action and perhaps moonlit pale sand. I don't know, I'm going to see how that goes, but this is meant to be a feeling, not realism, but suggestive of nighttime seascapes, and not all of them are night. So I'll just whiz through now and tell you what comes to mind. Okay, so the next one. This is really an inconclusive one. You can see it's all pretty much mid-tone. Could be any way up. So this is one I'm going to enjoy working on a lot more, and it probably won't even be recognisable. Now this is one that I love just as it is. So this might not change. And it's very suggestive of winter, actually. To me, it's almost as if snow is combining with the water and the moonlit sort of shine of shallow sea across sand, across white sand in moonlight, that sort of thing. This one is very, very abstract and very dark, so this has a long way to go. But there are some lovely elements. I love this triangle of blue just in the top, well, one of the top corners. It might be that way up, it may even be that way up, in which case it's in the bottom. But that almost looks like the moon very, very far away. I don't know what the rest is or how it's going to develop, but that'll be one, definitely another one to do a lot of work on, much like this. This one very much has the feeling of cliffs and light source over here, and then deep, dark waters. And I love that. So again, this is one more like this, in that I don't want to do too much to it. It's going to take a little bit of thinking about to preserve that instant feeling of depth. Love this one. It's very, very peaceful. I love this slight change in the horizon line. This one has a feeling of cold and ice, I feel. This one could change. I'm not so attached to it as those other two. This one, really love it. The way that this looks like a forest with the sea here. So something needs to be done with this horizon line and probably the sky. But this part here, I'm not going to touch that because I love it the way it is. This one also has a lot of potential the way it is. This is one I love as it is. When I did it, it almost made me gasp. I just love that moonlight. It was an instant result, if you like. There are a few layers, but not many. I love the shapes in this. And again, it could be any way up. It's like this way up, it's as though that's the sky and there's a hole in the rock with something darker happening behind, perhaps the sea raging, and this is the rock. This way up, it's much more like you're inside a cave with the bright blue sky kind of piercing the roof of the cave. It's just so serene, and yet there's this tension between the potential rockfall, if you like, and the beautiful safety inside a cave. This is another one that is crying out for lots of layering, and it could completely change. I do like the idea of introducing white as a colour over the top, or even a very pale cream, and that could work well with this. I can see that this looks like a horizon here and a big threatening cloud, but I'm not very attached to that. So this one will definitely be one that I play with. This one here, I love, again, this almost forest-like impression down here. I want to change this because this is a bit bizarre, but that's just my first response when I'm just talking about it, looking at it now. There are some gorgeous marks here, almost like, you know, the fashion designer Missoni, the jumpers, the way they're knitted, and they have this jagged effect. I'm not sure that you'd be able to see that. I'll see if I can hold it up. and focus on it a bit more. Yeah, you can just see it there. So this is one that perhaps I'd like to try and conserve that part. But really love this graphic shape again, this crispness of that created just with the kind of a thick brush and a really watery edge, but not so watery that it just, faded to nothing. There was enough body in the paint to create that sharp edge, which I really like. So this lower half, I think, will remain untouched. I might clean that up, that little almost like charcoal scratch. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll definitely do a lot to the sky for this one. So another one to be careful of. This one I'm not attached to at all. I think this is the one I can have a lot of fun with and really experiment with layers and different blues, because to me it's not speaking to me and saying yes I am this or or which way up it is or anything. So I like this bit very much, that oblong shape, sort of curving. So this feels like the edge of a landscape, but that one needs more thought, but I'm not going to worry about ruining it. This one I feel it's got such a powerful energy of the sea that's pretty much nearly done, I would say. I could introduce a bit of glazing, and obviously paint the edges, but I really love this kind of tumult of water. It's a very powerful feeling, and it's the only one I've got that's like this. So I think that one's nearly done. I really like this. It has no logic to it whatsoever, but I love that graphic shape. I really do, and the colours. So for me, I think this is one that I will leave as it is. It's bizarre, but it really appeals to me. I see that as a beach. This is as beautiful water, and then this kind of darkness looping around. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And I love the shapes that have been created. It's as if the cliff has blended with this sudden surge of water. So perhaps the only differentiation could be a very fine curve, something like that, to separate this from this. But part of the beauty of it, I feel, is the fact that it isn't separated. When you look at a very dark landscape, sometimes you just can't see where one thing ends and another thing starts. So this had that feeling, and I'm loath to disrupt that and try to explain it. It is what it is, and what it is in the eye of the beholder. So those are just a few of the works in progress, and I'm going to be continuing with all of them this week, ready to send out to my mailing list very soon. I hope that was a bit inspiring for you, because when you're working so small, you can do such sweeping statements with quite small and yet wide brushes, if you see what I mean. A brush this wide isn't going to have a huge impact on something this size, but if you're doing it on here, one brush like that can create an entire sky in one sweep. So working from your mind, if you're somebody that loves to walk in the landscape and you're always marvelling at what you see around you, you can create an intuitive landscape collection relatively quickly, working at this scale. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to my channel. That would be fantastic. I'm aiming to reach 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. I have no idea whatsoever if that's going to be possible for me, but if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you've liked this, then please do. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.